Get cooking by 3 a.m. My mother-in-law, Lydia, thrust a list of 50 guests at me. Make it flawless for Nana's 72nd. My husband, Ben, added his bit. I nodded with a tight smile, saying, sure. But at 2 a.m., I was at the airport. 50 hungry relatives arrived to an empty stove. I'm Aaron, 33, the organized one. People call me when things need fixing. I manage logistics for a delivery company. I live by schedules and timers. If it moves, I can plan it, track it, deliver it. I'm also the family cook, not for pay, but for duty. For 4 years, I've handled every holiday, birthday, and random cousin brunch. I'm the planner, the unpaid chef. They laugh about my spreadsheets. Aaron's got it, they say, like it's a pat on the back. Most days, it's a chain. Saturday night, I stood in my in-law's kitchen, scribbling times on sticky notes. Turkey at 5 a.m., sides at 6:15, cake iced by 8. I'd brought my own knives. Theirs are dull, and my own pans, since theirs are scratched. A cooler held pre-chopped onions, celery, herbs. The dining room looked like a catering outpost. Ben scrolled on the couch, sports muted. Lydia loomed with a pen, handing me a list. 50 names, not a request, an order. Start at 3 a.m., she snapped. Breakfast out by 8. Gluten-free for Kathy, low salt for Ray, no time for Nana. Ben didn't look up. Make it perfect, he said, as if last year's 10-hour roast and 12 sides were a failure. I swallowed, smiled, that polished grin I'd practiced for years. Of course, I said. Lydia pressed on. No store-bought, your food's better, family doesn't eat chemicals. I jotted no chemicals by deviled eggs like that was logical. My hand shook, I hid it by stacking foil trays. Breathe, I told myself. A speaker chirped in the corner. Lydia clapped. Sound check for the slideshow. Aaron fixed the TV colors last time Mom looked sick. She smiled like it was funny. It wasn't. Ben glanced over. Don't overspend like Thanksgiving, he said, still scrolling. No fancy olives. I'd paid for those. I'd paid for most of it. I opened my mouth, then shut it. Not now. Words burned in my throat. Lydia took my silence as agreement. I'll sleep to be fresh for hosting, she said, patting me like hired help. Set your alarm. I stared at my phone's lock screen. 9:41 p.m., a photo of Ben and me, sunburned and grinning at a beach bar 3 years ago. I didn't know that woman anymore. Aaron, Lydia called from the hall, iron the tablecloths after icing. Last time's wrinkles were distracting. I nodded to no one. Ben yawned. Wake me if you need me, he mumbled, meaning don't. I washed a clean bowl, lined up trays, wrote times I knew by heart. My reflection in the dark window looked worn. I tried picturing 50 happy faces, but joy didn't come. Instead, a question I'd buried for months surfaced. What if I didn't? It scared me, then steadied me. I dried my hands, tucked the list in a drawer, and locked my jaw to keep the words inside. I can take a lot, I have. But that list, those 50 names, the exact hour to be useful, flipped a switch. I opened my phone, wrote I'm out in my notes, then deleted it. Too loud. I set an alarm for 2 a.m. Not for cooking. I tidied the counter, wrapped the batter, stacked napkins, polished spoons, habits run deep. Good night, I said to silence. Here's how I became the cook. When Ben and I married, I earned more with benefits and a steady schedule. He freelanced, always about to hit big. I didn't mind. I grew up pitching in without keeping score. Lydia loved that. You're a doer, she'd say, hugging me while handing me tape. You get it right. At first, it felt like family. Then it became my role. First Christmas, the caterer bylaid. I stepped in. It was fun. Cookies shaped like ornaments, rave reviews. You're amazing, Lydia said. Easter, a bakery flub meant I was up at dawn whisking curd. 4th of July, a broken grill had me marinating chicken on the porch while Ben filmed videos. By year 2, there was no caterer, just me. It wasn't just cooking. It was money too, but we didn't say that. It was spot us, we'll settle later. Me grabbing checks because Ben forgot his wallet. Lydia saying family doesn't nickel and dime while squeezing my hand. When Ben's car died, we bought a used one, my loan, my credit. His student loans, I set them to auto pay. Just till freelancing stabilizes, he said. Lydia's unsafe dishwasher, I paid the invoice because I'm good with forms. If I hesitated, Lydia had a line. We're family, you're ours. Ben's was, you're better at this. If I cried, I was too sensitive. If I asked about money, I was controlling. If I said I was tired, I was dramatic. I'd mention boundaries. Ben said we were budgeting. Lydia said don't be cold. Cold was her worst insult. 2 summers ago, I booked a lake cabin for our anniversary. Lydia called, your father-in-law's knee hurts. Move the washer, sort the garage. We canceled, spent the weekend hauling boxes while Lydia directed in flip-flops. She ordered sandwiches, called it even. Last fall, my promotion bonus prompted Ben to say, "That takes the pressure off." Lydia sent a Pinterest board for Tasha's engagement party. I paid the venue deposit, bought custom cookies, store ones taste like chemicals. Tasha cried, called me her mom. I smiled, feeling like a placeholder. Small slights piled up. My pantry raided after they fed the cat we don't have. Charges on our card for family grocer shrimp. Ben shrugged. Mom forgets, we'll settle. We didn't. At Thanksgiving, Uncle Rick toasted me as the family engine. Everyone cheered. I smiled. Later, washing dishes alone, I asked Ben for help. "In a sec," he said, until commercials. 2 months ago, I said I was burned out. I wanted a small, friends-only gathering, boxed brownies, no ironing. Lydia laughed. "You don't mean that, we bring out your best." Last week, the group chat buzzed for Nana's 72nd. Lydia, "Aaron, use our house. Same as last year, but more salmon. Gary's girlfriend skips chicken." I typed and deleted replies. Order in split costs, I can't. My finger hurt from deleting. Thursday, Ben touched my back as I chopped onions. "Just say yes. Less drama." Friday, Lydia pulled me aside. "I told everyone you're handling it. Don't make me look bad." I nodded, my temple pulsing. Compliance was my childhood survival trick, keep the peace. But that 50-name list, the 3am order, Ben's Make It Perfect, broke something. It wasn't about food, it was the tally I kept silently. The dishwasher, the car, the endless just this once. Lydia's praise when I gave, her cuts when I paused. Ben's couch-sitting as a verdict on my worth. I didn't want to fight. I wanted out. At 1:45 a.m. the house was still. 3 alarms ensured I wouldn't back out. I changed in the guest bathroom, jeans, hoodie, sneakers, hair in a bun. I packed my phone, charger, passport in a tote. I'd bought a one-way ticket at 10 p.m. with miles saved for a trip always postponed for family. I left the kitchen as is. Foil trays, list in the drawer, sticky notes in neat ink. A silent stage. I wrote on the fridge pad. At airport, not cooking. No calls until after party. I added a smiley face to soften it, though it felt like a lie. I left Lydia's key by the note. At 2 a.m., I locked the front door behind me. The air tasted of panic and freedom. I walked to the block's end, expecting shouts or running footsteps. Nothing. The quiet felt like a movie where no one wakes up. My Lyft driver was chipper. "Airport this early? Business or fun?" "Survival," I said. He laughed, thinking I joked. The terminal's lights were harsh. I checked my bag, kept my tote, cleared security, waiting for guilt to crush me. It didn't. At 2:37 a.m., Ben texted, "Where's my charger? Where are you?" Mom's asking about eggs. I ignored them, watching cleaners buff the floor. Boarding began at 3:15. I took a window seat. A suited man slept in the aisle. On the tarmac, I typed in the group chat, "Not cooking today." Deleted it. "Don't call me today." Deleted that too. I switched to airplane mode, watching runway lights vanish. My first yes to myself in years. At dawn landing, my phone erupted. Missed calls, texts, group chat chaos. Ben, "Are you serious?" Lydia, "What stunt is this?" Tasha, "Where's the salmon?" Ben again, "You're embarrassing me." Lydia, sharp, "Don't ruin today." I didn't reply, let silence work. I bought bad coffee at the terminal, steadying my hand, watching the sunrise. At 7:58 a.m., Lydia sent a photo of the empty counter. "Guests arriving." 801, "This is cruel." 803, "Fix this if you hurry." I texted one word, "No." I turned off read receipts. Lydia wins because saying no costs more than giving in. Not today. At 8:30, Ben called. Voicemail. Again at 8:32. Voicemail. I texted, "Talk after the party, not now." He replied, "You abandoned us." I wrote, "I refused unpaid work." Same thing, he said. There it was, plain. At 9:05, Lydia, "This is humiliating. We've got pastries, no eggs, no bacon." People are talking. I stayed silent. At 9:17, Tasha sent a Costco chicken photo, torn open. "This looks bad," like she meant me. I sat outside the airport watching shuttles. I'd booked a downtown hotel, packed a book I didn't read, bought a muffin to ease the barista's concern. At 10:02, Sienna texted, "You okay?" Ben called, "He's mad." I told her my location. She sent a coffee shop pin and a heart. "Sit with me, no questions unless you want." At noon, we sat in a quiet cafe, knees touching. She didn't say, "They mean well." She stirred tea and said, "Good, you left, good." Silence was enough. By 1 p.m., texts turned to bargaining. Ben, "Come now, we won't be mad." Lydia, "Say you hit traffic." Tasha, "I'll post you as the chef if you're here by 2. I ignored them. At 2, new tactics. Ben, "You owe us." Lydia, "After all we've done." Oh, hit hard, lighting up every time I'd paid, cooked, planned, smiled, apologized for not being grateful enough. At 2:27, I wrote in the group chat, I don't owe unpaid labor. I'm not your chef or manager. For years I've cooked, planned, paid for events without repayment or thanks. I'm done. I listed. Thanksgiving, $436, groceries, $89 pans, me. Tasha's party, $500 deposit, $182 cookies, me. Dishwasher, $1129, me. Easter, $274 groceries, me. July 4th, $210 meats, me. None split, all called family, I'm out. My heart raced, but I hit send. Silence for 20 minutes. Then Lydia, keeping receipts, that's cold. Her favorite jab, I replied. Cold is cooking for 50 on 4 hours sleep for no pay while told not to buy olives. Ben, you're embarrassing me, I wrote. Your family's embarrassed me for years. Tasha, so, coming or not? I didn't answer. At 3:15, Lydia sent a photo of deli meats shaped like 72. Grotesque. We survive without drama, she wrote. I laughed, cried, relief tears, not spite. At 5, the party ended. Aunt Joan texted. Didn't know you paid for everything. That's wrong. Proud of you. At 6, Ben banged on Sienna's cafe door. I stepped outside to avoid a scene. You made Mom cry, he yelled. I cried for 4 years, I said. You humiliated me. I protected myself. You could have told me. I did often, he jaw-clenched. We're married. I know, I said. I checked my ring. Act like it. Like a servant, a wallet, he stared past me. Come home. Not tonight, I booked a hotel. With whose money? I laughed. Mine. Family's everything, he said. Respect is, I replied. He left, muttering. Everyone thinks you're selfish. Sienna handed me a napkin and water. No knives thrown. Proud, she said. I slept that night, phone off, no lists in my head. The quiet was vast. Days later, I canceled Ben's loan auto-pay, removed Lydia from our card, changed passwords, left their key on their porch. Keys are for people who knock. I made a spreadsheet for me, expenses, time, boundaries, not about money, about clarity. I said no without apologies. No hosting, no paying, no over-explaining. Some got quiet, some loud. Lydia texted about family showing up. I didn't reply. Tasha posted a charcuterie board. We thrive. I liked it, let her thrive. The world didn't end. Work saw me as focused, not mean. A cashier liked my earrings. Ben slept on the couch, then at Lydia's, texting. So this is it? I didn't answer. He suggested therapy. I agreed, but only to discuss boundaries, not olives. In session, he said I changed overnight. The therapist asked if I'd just stopped changing for him. He stared at the floor. I felt grief and relief sit together. Weeks later, I bought sharp knives for my kitchen for me. I baked boxed brownies, ate one warm from a chipped mug. It tasted like freedom. Kathy invited me to her book club, no cooking. We debated endings on the floor, no lists handed over. I was useful, so they called it love. Compliant, so they called it kindness. Quiet, so they called it peace. When I stopped, they called me cold, selfish, dramatic. They'll keep calling me names as long as names get them free meals and labor. I'm not those names. I'm the woman who set an alarm for herself and left a house where her utility outranked her joy. I said no and survived the silence. I kept receipts to prove I wasn't imagining. Choosing myself didn't make me hard. It softened my clenched jaw, stomach, fists. I laugh more, sleep better. My yesies now are solid, ones you can stand on.